Right. Okay. So, good morning. My name is Afa. I want to go through the assignment brief today very quickly. There are 4 learning outcomes for this unit that we've looked over the few lessons that we've had. We looked at LO1, we looked at LO2, we looked at LO3 and 4. The LO1 was to do with your business types, right? To do with your sectors, primary sectors, business sectors, types of businesses, legal structure, business types and structure, market objectives, goals and strategy. Okay, we looked at this type of businesses. The second, what you call them, second LO2 was to do with your organizational structure, the type of organizational structure, the different advantages and disadvantages of structures. We looked at the functional structure, divisional structure, matrix, network, flat structure, hierarchical, and we looked at the advantages and disadvantages of these structures. And this type of structures will is responsible for the day-to-day production of the company's products and services. We want to make sure that these relationships or functional relationships are covered within this LO2. Why they are important is we looked at the interdependence of these functions with each other and to make sure that what type of role they play together to the overall success of the business. So this was to do with LO2. We looked at LO3 also, whereby we looked at the internal environment of the business. We looked at the functions. We looked at what do we mean by internal environment, where we said that the internal environment looks at the internal organization policies, procedures. It looks at the organization culture. It looks at the stakeholders, what type of stakeholder, why do they have an interest with the business. We looked at the what is the capabilities of the business, what is their strategic intent, what are they planning to do for the future, right? What's the market share, for example, what type of turnover or label turnover or the markets they're going to go into, or what are the problems, right? So this is to do with the internal organization policies and procedures. What do you mean by internal organization, the running of the organization? So all this type of motivation, and we looked at the lack of motivation, for example, or other factors. Okay, so the internal factor, the internal environment is very important, and we looked at in LO3 this type of and we also use the SWOT analysis in order to measure the internal strength or internal weakness or internal opportunities and threats. We looked at this SWOT analysis as a tool which we can use to look at our organizations internal and the factors that are affecting its externally weaknesses and opportunities. We looked at McKinsey's 7S strategy, or looking at the 7S model. We also you can use this type of model to look at the internal environment of the business. Okay. LO4 is to do with the external environment of business, where we looked at the the factors that are affecting the business externally to the organization, like political factors and local, national factors and international factors, and we're looking at the market opportunities and market threats and that particular thing. What we mean by external environment is the factors that are beyond the control of an organization, but affecting its strategy, but affecting its policy and factors, but policy factors affecting by the other outside organization. Okay, we looked at one of the tools that we looked at was pestle analysis. Okay, of 5 forces model of frame, Porter's 5 forces model, and maybe also other types of models. Or one of the other models is ANSOF strategy, okay, or BCG matrix, or use other types of models that you can use, for example, Vario model as well, Okay, so the pestle analysis is very important, measuring the external environment, where pestle is known as the acronym for political, economic, social, legal, technological, and environmental factors. And you can measure its impact on the organization's external. So this is the thing, and you can use these tools, Porter's and ANSOF's and BCG and Vario model and pestle analysis for looking at the external business's external environment of the business. Okay, so this is what we gone over the few lessons that we had with us for 4 lessons. Now, looking at your assignment, there are 3 parts to the assignment. Okay, there are 3 tasks. In other words, task 1, task 2, and task 3. Each of these tasks cover your assessment criteria, and you've got to make sure that you answer the assessment criteria one by one. Otherwise, if you miss out an assessment criteria, then of course you will not pass the whole or your assignment. You have to redo it. Okay, and it will be referred. So make sure that you tackle the assessment criteria one by one and answer those. So there are 3 tasks into the business operations assignment, and you use this particular scenario, which is to look at your organization, or you choose an organization, or you can use an organization of your choice to conduct an investigation of the business with a focus on its operating sector, its organizational culture, its organization structure, and internal and external environment. And you complete each of the tasks below. So this is your scenario. The first task, it looks at the different types of businesses whereby it satisfies the 1.1, 2, 3, and 4 assessment criteria. There are 3 tasks within this particular assignment. Task 1. The first one is to look at the business sectors in which your business organization is operating, and making sure that you talk about these business sectors. Second part of this assignment is looking at the types of businesses and its legal structure, having considered the different types and legal structure available to that particular business. And the third section of that particular learning outcome is to look at how the business type and structure relates to the sector and markets in which it operates. Okay, so there are three tasks within that particular task number 1, covering the whole of the LO1 and covering the whole of the assessment criteria for 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and this has got to be done within 500 words or maybe 600 words. Make sure that you are referencing, make sure that you are using Harvard style reference, make sure that these are backed with your resources, and make sure that these are, if you got some additional information to add, references or bibliography or appendices or diagrams or data, you append it at the end of the assignment. Okay, so this is. So the first one is to look at you look at the business sectors, like a firm, primary sector, like the tertiary sector, like the quaternary sector. So you explain about these. What do you mean by secondary sector? So you explain about these type of sectors that your organization is operating. Then you look at what type of a legal structure your business is operating. Is it, what type of, is a sole trader? Is it a limited company? Is it a private limited company? Or what? What type of, is it a partnership? So what is it? Is it a cooperative? So you look at that and the structure it follows. For example, is it flat structure or tall structure or organizational, divisional structure or other structures? Okay, so this is the tasks within that particular. Second task is it fulfills the criteria 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, and 2.4, and it's about understanding the relationship between different business functions. This is the task number 2, right? This is about 750 or 800, maybe 900 words. Again, diagrams, references, appendices got to be added using the reference style, using the Harvard style referencing, line spacing 1.5, font size 12, Arial make sure again you have a contents table of contents at the first page. Make sure you have a title. Make sure you write the title of your learning outcome, and make sure that you title the assessment criteria. So it's very easy for people to pick up and mark, and very clearly lay out and make neat and tidy. So it's easier to mark. Otherwise, assessing people, or people who are assessing, they have to look at where is your criteria, what paragraph answers which criteria. They have to pick up and spend a lot of time. But if you clearly label the learning outcome and the assessment criteria, makes life very easy for markers, and it's quickens up the process of assessing, and clearly you'll be informed very quickly of your assessment results. Okay, there is a pass or a fail or refer. There is no fail. You have to resubmit, and then if you miss out a criteria, then you need to write. Then you have to rewrite the assignment, and making sure that particular criteria is tackled. Okay. All right. So that's very important. The task number 3. Okay. The task number so the task number 2 will be you explain the different functions. Then you explain how these functions work with each other. You explain how these structures of the organization or structure of the business show relationship with the other functions, and you need to look at the way of the business size and the importance of this business structures or business functions with each other. So the cooperation and the coordination of different functions, the relationship between these functions is mainly done within this particular learning outcome. Okay, number 2. The third part is to look at the internal and external environment, and this covers learning outcome 3 and learning outcome 4. This assessment criteria number 3.1, 2, 3, and 4, and 4.1, 2, 3, and 4. So there are 8 criteria that you need to tackle, and it's about 2,000 words or less than 2,000 words, about 1,900 words. Make sure that you answer each criteria as it falls. Otherwise, if you miss out a criteria, again, you have to redo that criteria, and make sure that you title the criteria. It's easier for people to mark. Again, so the learning outcome 3 and 4 looks at the internal and external business. So within the business, you need to explain something about SWOT analysis. You need to explain something about 5 forces model, maybe NCFE strategy, maybe pestle analysis, and the impact of those analyses on a business, and what are they. Okay, and you can use other business models you come across, and how it operates, and how these operations, how these models affect organization to achieve its goals. Okay, you must be able to look at these these factors and how they're impacting the business as a whole. Okay, altogether your assignment should be about between 3.5 to about less than 4,000 words, tackling all these assessment criteria. Okay, this is very important that you tackle all these criteria in order to get through this assignment. Okay, so 2 weeks from today, you send your work on the website learners portal. Okay, and make sure that your plagiarism figure is well below a criteria like 10% or less than 15%, less than 10%. If you want to copy and paste, make sure you avoid copy and paste directly. Try and rephrase in your own words. Okay, and make sure that you reference, make sure that you write bibliography, make sure that you tackle your assignment in the academic writing style rather than informal writing style. Okay, so also make sure that you submit the work in time, please. Okay, and follow the rules, so that you don't get penalized. Hopefully you will get it done by the time. Make sure that you got the contents title of the first page, and also sign the declaration that the work is your own. Okay. If you have any questions, please ask me now, or if you do not want to ask me, you just write a message and I will get back to you answering that particular question. If I can't answer myself, I'll ask someone, a colleague, to give you the answer accordingly. Okay. So thank you for joining, and have a good day. Bye-bye.